Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, GT in the house, watching mouth. So, hey, check this out. We got something very special in for y'all this evening. We got the independent journalist Ashlee Matthews. Ashlee Williams. Ashlee Williams having some issues there in Columbus, and we have them with us this evening, and she's going to tell her story. And before we do that, let's bring everybody up to speed. I'll try to get all those hellos to everybody if I can. Welcome, everybody. Much love to all of you. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. It's about a 5-minute segment of a video. It's Ashlee speaking at the Columbus City Council meeting, and then following her with later on with an arrest. So let's get popping with that video right quick, and we will be right back.
City manager, mayor, city attorney, and council. My name is Ashlee Williams, born, raised, and current citizen of Columbus, Georgia. I hope you all are having a wonderful morning so far. I would like to preface that any and everything I'm about to say is not only personal to me, but also applies to every willing and able person who pays taxes in Columbus. These are simply facts that I have put together over a course of many years that directly affect every person in Muskogee County. I sincerely wish I did not need to spend this Tuesday morning standing in front of you all, voicing concerns about your leadership and how it has not only affected me personally, but every citizen in this county. But here we are, and I'm back. Did you really think it'd be that easy to get rid of me? Let me backtrack for those of you just tuning in. I'm Ashlee Williams, and a Columbus, Georgia native who worked to put herself through college and embark on a career in journalism. During COVID, I moved back home to Columbus to work at a local news station. I understand, city manager, that is your preferred news source. That's what you told the station's former general manager when I started researching, documenting, and investigating what exactly you leaders are doing with Columbus, Georgia taxpayer money. Keep in mind, this is the smallest and most chaotic market I have ever worked in, but guess what? This is my hometown too. Filled with people who have shaped me into the strong woman I am today. So yes, I care. And I, unlike some of you, I did and continue to do my job. I ask questions. But let's go back a little more. Mayor Henderson, can I ask you a question? Do you remember the first time I interviewed you in the mayor's office in the former government building? I remember vividly. Before we spoke business, I asked you if it was okay if I prayed for you. You responded that you've had a lot of people pray for you in your lifetime, but never a journalist. And then I prayed. Skip, rest assured, I still pray for you. But Mayor, my prayers for you and the people you surround yourself with, the people you continually act as a puppet to and turn a blind eye to, I pray for all of you. Before I read the most important part about why I'm up here, I want to encourage you, and not all of you. Toya, you already faithfully do this. But whoever needs to hear this, Columbus, Georgia is in shambles. I don't know how much you pay those people on the internet to reward us with a top-run city logo marketing scheme, but it must be a lot of money. We are already a laughingstock, and straight up, I don't care who you are married to, whether it's the head of the Democratic Party of Georgia or your husband is an Arabian prince. I don't care. Go spend some time on Terminal Court or Clay Drive in Columbus. They're just across the street, not very far. And see how other people live. Very different. I've personally done that, and it's very eye-opening. It's where people are scared to step outside, or just used to all the chaos because of all the gunshots that they grew up around and hear day in and day out. Thank you, Chief Mathis, for your call to prayer this morning. That was very inspirational for our city. Everyone, next Thursday at noon, I think that will be something very good we should all participate in. So here's the most important part. I have about a minute left. Isaiah 1, 7 through 9 in the Bible. Your country lies in ruins and your towns are burned. Foreigners plunder your fields before your eyes and destroy everything they see. Beautiful Jerusalem stands abandoned like a watchman's shelter in a vineyard, like a lean-to in a cucumber field after the harvest, like a helpless city under siege. If the Lord of Heaven's armies had not spared a few of us, we would have been wiped out like Sodom, destroyed like Gomorrah. Isaiah 1:18 through 20. Come now, let's settle this, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, I will make them white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, I will make them as white as wool. If you will only obey me, you will have plenty to eat. But if you turn away and refuse to listen, you will be devoured by the sword of your enemies. I, the Lord, have spoken. Let me conclude by letting you in on a secret. The harder you guys work to do evil, the more it entices people like me to keep bringing light. Dig your grave deeper or do the right thing. The choice is yours. Where's the money? Have a great day, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
All right, what's going on? I'm back. Real quick to give you that synopsis. I'm getting ready to bring Ashlee Williams up, as well as Miss Julia with Plumline Productions, and let her tell her a little bit. Let her tell everybody a little bit about herself, what she's doing, and how she is holding the city of Columbus accountable, and what it appears that they're doing, and what they could be doing to try and retaliate for what's going on. And we see this a lot with everything. I'll try to keep up with the comments and address as necessary. And to the troll that's in here, that you said you'd rather watch grass grow. Well, why are you in here watching and commenting? Go watch some grass grow. Funny. All right, hey Ashlee, hey, it's all yours. What's up?
Hi, how are y'all? Thanks for having me, Russ. And hello to my Facebook friends on my platform. I want to go ahead. Yes, Russ, go ahead. I'm doing two things right now, so I'm balancing.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Go ahead and knock it out.
So you want to know about me?
Yeah, whatever you want to share.
Okay,
Just
so
what
hi.
you want to share about you, how you got into journalism, what you're doing, and then if whatever you want to talk about that you can talk about with your arrest, and then just all the exposure.
Well, let's just start with that first. Yeah, for sure. Thank you all for having me. Thank you guys on Facebook for tuning in. So, born and raised in Columbus, Georgia. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was in college. I knew, I put myself through college, stayed home. I knew it was something important. At that time, it was the most important thing I ever prayed for for a very long time. Lord, show me, show me, show me. And he clearly showed me that, I didn't grow up watching the news. We didn't watch TV. I don't know a lot of movies and stuff, but he showed me I was going to be an investigative reporter. So I had a dream of an amount of money that I'm making when I moved to Augusta, Georgia, which was my dream, my first job. Shout out to all my Augusta peeps. And it was $28,500. I had a dream that I would get the job and be making that amount of money the Saturday before it was offered to me. So it just all lined up. And it's been amazing. It's been a wild ride. I came home. So I started in Augusta, Georgia back in 2016. I believe, into 2016, 2017. For 2 years, I was there reporting family. And then I went to Montgomery, Alabama, where I was a main evening news anchor there. That was about a year after that's when COVID started, worked through that. And then took a little break and worked at Auburn University for a few months. Came back, missed news, came back to my hometown of Columbus, Georgia, where I worked for a local news station there, WTVM. And ultimately, we ended up splitting ways after my 2-year contract ended. I didn't get a reason why specifically. But I had asked the general manager at the time, she has since retired, Holly Stewart, a week before. I was just clearing up a few things before I signed a new contract. I needed working AC in the car, because that's my office during this all the time pretty much. And, a laptop that was actually worked, and just some, things that I needed. And then also to revisit a conversation, an email that former now, as of 3 weeks ago, city manager Isaiah Hughley. He's been the city manager of Columbus, Georgia since I believe 1993. Wait, is that right? I don't know exactly, but it's been decades. So no term limits there. And so I did a story. You guys can look it up if you want to, if you're interested when you have time. Just search WTVM, Ashlee Williams, former police chief Freddie Blackman, or something, to those keywords, and you'll find it. But that's the story I did February of 2023. And he sent a very wordy, lengthy hearsay, straight up lies in it, some email to all of my direct bosses saying to coach me on journalism, talked about my mental health because of that story. He does not take any interviews. I've never seen him take an interview with any news reporter ever. And any sound we ever had was taken from city council. And I love city council. Shout out George Escala in Augusta. And so that email was sent. I was never given the opportunity to even respond in the person-to-person meeting with my direct boss and former general manager Holly Stewart. And once my contract was up in October, coming up when we were doing those negotiations, I asked to revisit that email because I, quite frankly, was not able to go to city council anymore or cover any of he said in the email, Holly ended up saying, you cannot contact his office for anything ever again if you're working for us. And so I wanted to have a conversation with her and my boss to clear that up, because I wanted to be able to do my job to the best of my ability. So anyways, I was called in the office. She said they were not going to be renewing my contract. Come to find out, I've been canceled nationwide, maybe own an independent platform. And as of 6 months ago, so I had about a little over a year to heal and learn some more lessons and accept the fact that my calling was kind of ripped under my feet. But now I have this opportunity and I'm so thankful. You there,
Awesome.
Russ?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. There might be a small lag or something. I was muted while you were talking, so just it didn't interrupt you or anything. So, okay.
And then
So
lots of
I guess-
course, has unfolded.
Do what?
You go ahead.
The
Go ahead, please.
okay, so the arrest. I'm going to throw the arrest report up. I redacted some of the stuff, and then if you can talk about whatever you want to talk about with it. As far as
Yeah, and I do want to add one more thing before we do that, if that's okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, most definitely. Go ahead.
So it was, I want to say, less than a month, maybe about a month later, after WTVM and I split ways in October of 2023, just to give everybody a refresher, all these, everybody. And for those of you who do not know me from Adam, so about a month after we split ways, it all started coming out. I just threw my hands up like, I need time to heal. I got to figure out my life again. It's a lot in your hometown, and you're doing this for the people that you love so much. And, a month later, though, it started coming out that there was, I've heard numbers up to 88 million, but at the time it was, I think, $45.1 million missing, unaccounted for, whatever word they wanted to use. And it was it came out. And so for the past 6 months, I want to say, I've really been feet on the ground, launching my independent platform and covering everything, not just government politics, because there is so much good in this world, in our state, in our city. But of course, I have a passion for that as well. And that was before anything happened to me personally. I just want, justice to be served and for people to be treated better.
Awesome. Oh yeah, just really quick. The banner that's scrolling below, this is Ashlee Williams's Go Get Funding. Sorry. Go Get Funding. It's also, there's a link in the description of this live stream to cover legal fees, as far as it's all going to an attorney, and then whatever is not used, she would plans to reimburse back to whoever had donated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't, unless it's, yeah, Scott, you know what I'm talking about. So the arrest report, and then also after we cover the arrest report, something I would like to hear about, and I'm wondering, there's probably some people from Columbus, definitely quite a few from Columbus, probably most likely watching this and in the area. How does your experience? Just tell us about your experience at the jail after we go through your arrest report here, and then
For sure. I'm going to show the people on my Facebook
what you
this
see is
jail
off.
report as well.
Yeah, like what you see is off, or anything like that. So I'm
sure.
going to give it back to you to just kind of point me in the direction of, and let me know when to go to the next page or something.
Do you want to talk about it, or would you like me to talk about this report?
Oh no, you. Yeah, no, you talk about it. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say nothing that would hinder or anything with the case. So anything is pretty much already public. Yeah.
For sure. So Julia, say hi, Julia.
Hi.
So Julia Pierce, before we even go to we'll go through the report, and then I guess we can go. So Julia was actually on the phone with me when Columbus Police Department, I'm not sure of his title, Dayton Dassau, and
it's right here. Dayton Dassau,
and then also Jose Arroyo came barging into the bedroom I was in at around 7:45, 7:30 Sunday morning. So let's go ahead, Julia, if you don't mind going over this report, because let's be honest, yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, real quick too, before I go into that, like a lot of what I do in my business, so my business is Plumline Production. I do a lot of government oversight and reporting as well, but I'm in the criminal justice. I'm in a paralegal studies field, and I've learned in order to be able to back up a lot of the stories that I do, I had to do open records requests. So I actually got these reports by doing open records requests through the Columbus Police Department, their open records division team. And I really just, what ended up happening and transpiring is, so Ashlee and I had connected about 2 to 3 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer.
I don't have the time frame.
Yeah. So we really just connected. And so, we've been talking off and on for a couple of days. And anyway, so what ended up happening is I was doing something around the house. I was outside, and my husband came to get me, and he said that Ashlee was on the phone and that she seemed frantic. So he said, you needed to go and call her. Well, I called her back. She didn't answer. I called her again, and immediately I was put on to speakerphone, and I heard her saying, hey, they're here to take me in for a psych evaluation. Like, what do I do? Of course, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give her any advice in that way, but I do know that if they're trying to make you go in for a psych evaluation, they either have to have some sort of an order to do that, or from my understanding, I've talked to someone in the law enforcement field who is also a friend, that they said that if they see that you're doing something while an officer is in your presence and they suspect you of being in a position where you need to be evaluated, then they can do that without an order as well. But so I heard her in the background, and I heard the officer telling her to turn around, that, she had to put her hands behind her back.
I was in bed. It was Sunday morning. I didn't have my contacts in. I'm like -7 prescription. I don't know why. And I called, it was God to call Julia. I don't know, but I called her, and she was on the phone and heard everything. And I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. So I heard the officer, and I don't know which one it was. I just know her story of who took her and detained her, which was Officer Dassau. And so I really just started hearing her screaming in the background. That hurts. I heard her screaming. I could tell that she was in pain. And then I could hear her trailing off because she said, they're taking me and putting me in the car. They're putting me in the car. And so around that time, like, I was just praying on the other end of the line. And as I hear her voice trailing off and I can hear it no more, then I heard what sounded like people in her grandfather's house, which is where she was detained from. I heard them kind of whispering around the phone. I don't know what they were saying. And then the phone hung up.
Didn't you say you heard a laugh?
It sounded a little bit like that they were like laughing.
I happened to look back, and my father was in the room as well.
And I didn't know that at the time. So, okay. So what ended up happening is I knew that they were taking her somewhere, but I wasn't sure where they were taking me. Where they were taking her. But I have been similarly treated in the same fashion, not in the same way that Ashlee has been treated, because of the way that I was exposing the Columbus government starting back in 2016, just because I was wrongfully incarcerated. And then, of course, I ended up a couple of years later being asked to just like volunteer for a mayoral candidate who was running against Skip Henderson in his first term. And so there was a lot of exposure that we were doing. Charlie Roberts was the gentleman who was running against Skip, and he wanted to expose some things. So all of that to say, I knew where they were going to go with her. They were going to try to either make her look mentally unstable, or they were going to try to make her look like she was a criminal. And so because I knew as a believer that you always want to take back the power for the testimony of God's kingdom. If you put the truth out, then when they come with the lie, you have the truth to stand and, before all of that. So I posted, hey, this is what happened, just in case like some things are going on. Ashlee's been detained, these things. And so I'm super, super glad that I did that. Because I really see that there was a lot of support. I see that there were a lot of people that when the mugshot came out, just like I suspected with...
What was it? Maybe it was 11 o'clock. They said, that's a whole nother story that we'll get into.
Yeah.
We have two different reports.
Okay. So that being said, let's get into the report. So you have the arrest details, but can we start actually with the case report?
Because that was the day before.
And it's important
Saturday.
to know this for context. There's a backstory here.
Is it this here?
It's the one that says case report detail, page 1.
Case report detail, arrest detail. I have that. Hold on one second.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and you can start talking about it.
That's like not redacted. So hold on. Let me run through and redact
it's okay.
it
I can.
quick.
Okay, and you can be talking about it.
I'll just start with the arrest details then, and then if we need to.
No, I think we need to start there, if that's okay.
Okay.
And I think we can go ahead and start talking about it.
Okay, so
go start talking about it. I'm running through I'm redacting. There's some stuff that it looks like Columbus PD redacted some stuff that shouldn't have been redacted, but then didn't redact
and then
stuff.
Didn't redact things that they should have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about the case report details.
Okay, so on June 28th,
Saturday.
So this was Saturday. I had already been speaking with Ashlee because she was going to her mother's home and her mother's friend. So our mother was staying in the home of the friend, and Ashlee had been staying. Okay, yes, her name is Connie. Or is it Irvin?
Connie Peterson Thorpe.
Okay, my bad. Okay. So she had
Ashlee had to go into all those details.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be rude.
No worries. So long story short, there was an altercation, not an altercation. There was a disagreement about
over text messaging
between Ashlee and Connie. And so we suspect, without going into too many details, we suspect that the arrest
that happened on
Sunday morning actually had something to do with the incident on Saturday with Connie.
That I didn't even lay eyes on Connie or see Connie that day.
Right. So, and what I found interesting about the report, which helped me to understand what was going on with her arrest, because when they were there, obviously they were there for a psych eval. So how did a psych eval turn into simple battery? So as I was looking at the arrest report, the only person who was the officer there, the officer, was Dayton Dassall.
That's listed.
However, talking with Ashlee, she said that Jose Arroyo was there as well.
I'm pretty sure it was right. We talked and Yes, because I saw pictures and stuff.
Yes. And so Jose was the attending officer to Connie's request when it came to, it's actually marked on her incident as a domestic incident.
On the Saturday where I've never even,
Yeah. So, you know, as I'm looking at the incident now, the incident itself from Connie on the 28th was it was called in. It looks like about the incident occurred at 4:00, but the reported date and time was 4:08 on on Saturday the 28th. So this happened like in the afternoon, like, you know, 4:00 in the afternoon. And so what I found interesting about that is when you go over to this report, the arrest, if you can pull up page 2 of the arrest report, Russ.
I'm grabbing it right now. Sorry.
Yes, sir. No worries.
So sorry. Okay,
You're
got
good.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank y'all for being patient with us.
There we go.
Okay.
I had to redact though. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I had to redact. I wanted to redact a lot of stuff because some of it had y'all's. It had some of it Ashley's person, or no, I wouldn't say private or personal.
Okay, now this is actually
stuff. So
right. So this is the incident that happened on Saturday the 28th with Connie. And she was at a different address. If it does it say here, because so it had her address, which thank you, Russ, for redacting that. But if you will go to the second page of that, actually, hold on, let me make sure because I can't. Yes, can you actually?
I don't think I can make it.
That's okay.
Okay, well, okay. So on this, what's interesting is, so the arresting officer has entered in there that she was, so there was an apparent minor injury that happened, and this was actually listed now. Hold on, I'm still looking at, my bad. We're looking at the arrest details because I did ask you to put up page 2 of that, my bad. So this is Connie's incident. And so what I found interesting on this one is, so it does say that the officer on there was Jose Arroyo. We were able to confirm that. It doesn't have anything in here as to why this was domestic. Like, and again, this is just the cover sheet. So I'm not sure because I asked for the incident. They didn't give me anything else but the cover sheet. So I don't have a description of anything. But what's interesting is this is in a closed status. It says that there's an other action taken there, you know, where the reasons for no arrest was other. And so, you know, obviously Connie's incident was not, there was no further action that needed to be taken. Okay. That point blank with that one. So, but here was where I was able to question. Now, I cannot prove this at this time. I have some other open records requests that I am waiting on the CPD to respond to. So now my question, Russ, is can you now go back to the arrest details, the original screenshot that you had?
No.
We needed that.
Thank you. Okay. So the arrest for Ashlee when it happened was it was when she called me. It was between 8:11 and 8:19 a.m. And so it was interesting that this report said that the arrest actually happened at 7:59 when there was no arrest. And Ashlee, you were telling me that they didn't mention that they were charging you with anything. They didn't read you.
I was asking, what are you doing? Like, I couldn't see because, like I said, -7 vision. Like, I didn't have my contacts in. And so I just literally 2 men in uniform barge in, and I'm like, you know, my pajamas on, what I ended up wearing to jail. And I'm just like, huh? Like, and I'm like, what did I do? And they're just like, I don't even remember. It was a lot, y'all. And, they wouldn't tell me what I did. I mean, nothing. Just like, I don't even remember exactly what they said. And I don't really say things that people said unless I know exactly what they said. Mm-hmm. But it was very, they were putting me in handcuffs immediately. I still have this is like 3.5 days later. I have bruises like all over. Because you can kind of see them there, and they were a lot worse. And we have pictures from them on Monday when I got out at 10 o'clock p.m. But I was just very confused because I've never been arrested before. I've never had really a run-in with law enforcement that wasn't good.
So anyway, the reason that I was mentioning that is because this actually says she was arrested at 7:59 a.m., but they were detaining her for a psych eval between 8:11 and 8:17 a.m.
And they wanted me to get a psych eval, but I didn't need a psych eval. I was very, very confused while I was in handcuffs, and they're telling me I have to have a psych eval, or like you need to, and I was refusing. No. And so they said, "Oh, then you're going to go to jail." And I said, "Okay."
Okay, so what really made me want to request these is, so around 11 o'clock, I think it was, Colin Scroggins from CNAW came out with an article about Ashlee being arrested and had a mugshot of Ashlee. Do you by any chance have that, Russ?
I have the mugshot.
My mugshot.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
So 3 hours after I'd been arrested. Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, so about 3 hours after Ashlee was, well, we really didn't know at the time if she was arrested. We didn't know, because I had been monitoring the Muskogee County jail portal. A lot of times they'll put the information in there and you can see if somebody has been through the intake process and what they were charged with. And so, there were plenty of citizens too that were looking, and, they were reporting. So, but here comes Colin's article at 11ish. Okay.
And he's, for those of you watching that maybe aren't from Columbus, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Columbus or Phoenix City area. He got his start in journalism when he was
Very young.
Mm-hmm. He's now a freshman in college, maybe going into the sophomore year of college. And, we are very different when it comes to the way we approach things. Like, I am very much so facts. I do not report rumors. He literally put in his script, that he posted of my mugshot, rumors are that he put Connie's name the night before Ashlee's rumored arrest.
Yeah, well, like that there were rumors overnight of Ashlee's arrest. And so my question was, she was just arrested this morning. So where was the
confusion?
Where was the talk of an arrest for Ashlee overnight? And so I posted an article on my page, where it was like, is Colin Scroggins a future teller, a fortune teller? And I don't remember the exact title, but one of the and I just want to kind of throw this out here.
There it is.
Yeah. But so many people were saying that you were still so pretty there, though. Like,
it was fun. Take it. I'll be honest. I was cutting up with them. So there it is.
Yeah. So, okay. But all right. So one of the things that comes along with being a believer for some of us is we get discernment. Okay. And one of the reasons why I get rejected a lot is because I'm a visionary. I have visions and dreams and warnings and things like that. And I just see a lot of things that show me what's going on. And so, I had already had this, what I believe the Lord was showing me. There was a conspiracy that was
I'm laughing at that too, Russ.
Yeah. So, and I'm totally the tin hat girl. Like, I've been called everything under the sun.
Oh no, it just changed. Somebody said get the fur. What did they say? Get the fur something cuff. I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Comment of the night.
Yeah. So that's really what kind of led me to believe that I needed to go get these arrest, or these reports. Okay. And so what on this arrest report, it was very intriguing to me that the offense or charge was listed as taking place on June 28th, 2025 at 2000, which is 8:00 p.m.
Saturday night.
And this is where I kind of want to turn it over to Ashlee, because Ashlee actually witnessed some things that were just a little questionable whenever her arresting officer, or her detainment officer, the arresting officer.
That's all.
Yeah. So tell them what
Hey, right
you
quick,
experienced.
Right quick, so sorry. My boy Thomas here, Scott Thomas, United States Army veteran as well. He did the music for the little music video I did and put a lot of my videos to the music. It's pretty cool. He did a really good job with it. So I'm gonna shout out to him for that. And maybe he can hook y'all up with something. He did a really great job with it.
Thank
We'll have
you.
to check it out. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, tell them what happened, like, as they were taking you away, like after the detainment, because you said that you saw them putting in your charges.
Yes. So
Charges.
yeah. So we got to the jail, and I'm still just like, and I'm still processing all of this, and it's a lot, and I've been through a lot in my life, but this is a lot. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my new friends, my old friends, my new families. I'm so thankful. Anyway, so when we got to the Muskogee County Jail, because Columbus, Georgia is consolidated government. We still have a sheriff's office and a Columbus, Georgia Police Department who do not work very well together. Anywho, so when Columbus Police Department arrested me and took me to the Muskogee County Jail, which is under the sheriff's office, we pulled up in this little, like you see in the movies, to go into the jail in Sallyport, and I see Officer Dassau putting in all the charges, and he didn't know what he was so confused. He said, they just got a new program, but he's been there since 2022. And he just didn't know he was doing all these charges. Like I was getting obstruction, I was getting alcohol, it was like 4 different charges that I saw. And I'm just sitting back there watching, like, this is interesting. And then we went inside. I go in and I go to the area where they, I just have on my pajamas and go into the area where they have a lady. She's with intake. I was told by another inmate, her last name is Miles. I do not know. And we go into this room that's like a bathroom, and I strip naked, and she's saying some stuff and I'm answering, and I guess she didn't like what I said. It was a lot. I was butt naked. She got me. The bruises are mostly from the cops, but they're from her too, because that was the worst. I mean, I was butt naked in that place, and it was just really like had me up against the wall, and it was really bad. And so she ends up just walking out. I say, yes, ma'am, to her. I look back and I say, yes, ma'am. And she just storms out. And there's another man out there. And I'm like, so, sir, am I supposed to put on this jail uniform and then put my clothes in this bag? And he said, yes. And so that's what I do. And then I go out and give it to him. It was a lot. Put in solitary confinement. I keep wanting to say solitary, but solitary confinement for several hours. Called family, talked to them. Kind of. That's another story, but it's just going to be on here. So I'm just, and then at about 8:00 at night, I was moved once again to another room, a solitary confinement. And then they got me around 8:00 and brought me upstairs to, like, I think it was room 301 or something, in the jail with all the women. And we get our 2 bologna sandwiches and pretzels.
I remember that.
Because that's dinner every night. Bologna, cheese, bread, and 2 of them every night. And then, which, hey, I'm not complaining, whatever, it's food. But it's just very different from what Sheriff Greg Countryman told me. And I did a story on the jail back in 2022. And so, go in with all the women. And honestly, most of those women were amazing, strong, resilient women. And it was just a lot of chaos. They had phones in there. And I made myself a code to try to call. You can't call a bondsman when you're in there. You have to call, a family member to get you a bondsman to get you out. But my codes, I was never able to make one phone call out of that. And there were women making phone calls the whole time. There was no AC in there. The water tasted like drugs. I smelled like methamphetamine before because of one of my family members dated one. And I will never forget that smell. And it's like everything smelled like that. And it was very traumatizing. Like the blankets, the mattresses, the water, it was just, anyway. And so I end up a man, and who I'm so thankful for, because I wasn't ever able to make a phone call when I got in there to postpone after I went to my preliminary hearing that Monday morning. So by the grace of God, this random stranger emailed me, and I didn't know. And I didn't know who he was, but I was just super thankful. Sorry, guys, for having a little bit of connection issues. Thank y'all for being patient with me. And anyways, he ends up messaging me and helps me get out. Finally, I was able, after going to a bonding company, Abercrombie Bonding, who I have a personal relationship with, they refused to get me out. So shout out Susan Abercrombie. And then also Kate Haddon and Brian Haddon with ABC Bonding, finally, with the help of this stranger who got to email me. By the grace of God, I would still be there right now if it was not for him and Kate and Julia. I'm so thankful. And I finally got out. It was really weird because my bond was posted at 2 p.m. on Monday. Kate told me with the bonding company that she got there at 2. Generally you're out by, I saw women coming out all day. And so I was like, any day now. And then she told me that when she went in there to check on it around 6,
I had her call then.
And then she called to talk to the new, when that was shift change. And he was like, I don't know. This is the only thing on my desk. I don't know why this hasn't been done or processed. It should have been done hours ago. She should have been out before 5 o'clock. And still I got out finally at
like
9 o'clock that night.
And what was interesting about that, because Kate from ABC, and she said that when the general was actually processing all the papers for Ashlee to be discharged, he said this paperwork has just been sitting here for 2 hours. Like nobody's done anything with it. And I'll be honest, I kind of had some thoughts because I literally had been sitting in the parking lot from like 3:30 until 9 o'clock. I had to go in a couple of times, use the bathroom. Nobody in the sheriff's office would look me in the eye. The people that would talk to me when I was asking them a question, they would either have smirks on their face or they just acted very rudely towards me. Like from the time that I entered in there saying that I was there to, get Ashlee, so here it is. This man is like, I don't even know why this has been sitting here. Nobody's been doing anything. I'm so sorry that you guys have had to wait this long. And so, we got Ashlee out at 9.
And I'm so thankful. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just been, I'm thankful for the experience. On the report, it says that I
grabbed/hit
my grandfather. I did not do that. So there's a lot of confusion, as you guys can see and hear through these 2 reports. With Colin Scroggins postings with all the rumors, which got a bunch of comments on that post.
I took a screenshot. It was like 701 comments. And then
when I got out, there was like 200 something.
Yeah.
They had deleted a lot because a lot of people were in support of me because I had just collaborated with Colin with something 2 weeks ago, posted a picture of it. So it was very interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Russ, we'll turn it over to you.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. So do you think it's, do you think there's any, and this would be, I guess it'd be speculation at best right now. So do you think this is any connection with, like the arrest is any connection with any sort of retaliation or backlash from exposing that corrupt city?
For sure. So, hey guys, I just turned off the Wi-Fi, so hopefully this will work a little better. Please let me know in the comments if this is working any better, and if it's not, just go ahead and head over to Russ's channel. You can find it on YouTube, Georgia Transparency, because I want you guys to hear all of this. I'm sorry, I just turned off the Wi-Fi, so hopefully this is a little better. So Russ just asked if you want to repeat that question, Russ.
Do you think the arrest, and this is speculation, this is pure speculation, do you think the arrest stems from you exposing the city of Columbus, and, not backing down, not letting them terrify you and intimidate you? Do you think it's kind of a domino effect now?
Like you said, this is speculation. I do not know. I'm thankful that it happened now. But at the same time, I never want to go back, and I never will go back in Jesus' name. But I don't know. But I think there's a lot of puzzle pieces to it. I believe Connie and some of my family members, in a way. Sorry, my service here is just being really spotty, so I feel bad.
No, it's working.
Viewers,
it's actually working a lot better now that you're off
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Yeah,
because it was pulling.
Okay, I should have done that a while ago. I'm so sorry. So hopefully the Wi-Fi being off Wi-Fi works a little better. But yes, I think it has a lot to. It has, I think, a little bit of everything. So I had actually, with the help of Julia, sent an email to the just to the sheriff, Greg Countryman. Was it last week? I believe so. And we were able to track the email asking, very specific legal questions about that 118-page investigation that Sheriff Greg Countryman headed up over the whole financial dealing. It wasn't just financial; it was personnel, people in Columbus, Georgia, who was works for the city. It is a lot of little rabbit holes. And keep in mind, guys, 2 people have already died. One, a whistleblower. Shout out, rest in peace, Nathan J. Smith. Nate. They said he committed suicide. We shall see. And then another man,
Tyler Cashwell.
Yes.
Assistant to the city attorney. He worked for Paige Granum. Is it Paige Granum, Sprouse, Tucker, and Ford? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know he worked for the city as well, or sheriff's office? City as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been being followed. I've been being intimidated in public. I've had people literally come up to me and say things. I'm not scared.
Well, I was actually following her the first day that we met a couple of weeks ago. And I was following her because my kids, they've just kind of taken to her and they wanted to ride with her. And so I don't usually do that. And she was following kind of closely, not illegally closely, but I'm watching in the rear view as we're going to drop the vehicle off to my husband.
Know this person?
And go help her. Do what?
Do you know Olivia O?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or does Ashley know Olivia O?
Olivia who?
Olivia O. Do you know this person?
You're a grandpa abuser. It looks like a fake profile, so I don't know who that is. No.
Probably a sock account. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. But I've witnessed some of this stuff. I've actually had to help her clean up her computer. There was hundreds of logins on her social media platform from all over the nation.
My Google account over the world. We had one in Paris.
Yeah.
My Google account.
Yeah. I've had to help her change all her passwords. But this one day, I was following her, 2 vehicles, 2 SUVs, blacked out windows, literally come in and cut her off, almost hitting me in the back. And
there's been so many weird things. I could go on all night about the weird things that happen daily. And I'm like,
But I would like to interject because this has happened to me. And this is one of the reasons why I feel led to help Ashley, because I just see them kind of doing to her what they were doing to Nate, what they've been doing to me. There's other people like me that have been experiencing that. But one of the things that I experienced, I had already had someone who had stolen my identity that I was trying to get relief from through the local law enforcement in the courts. And this woman had basically cyber harassed me. And I can't like go into details because right now I have a restraining order on me that was done in a kangaroo court. Anywho, but essentially, when I started exposing the government in 2018, they weaponized this woman, and she was already trying to make me look mentally unstable. You know, for those of you out there that don't know me, or maybe you do, I was actually featured on a Dr. Phil episode called I Am God's Prophet, where I was told I was going on there for family therapy, and I ended up being put on display, mocked and humiliated for my religious beliefs. So they essentially just used this woman and they weaponized her. So what I feel like is they just weaponized what was already happening, you know, just because families are dysfunctional. And so I think that they just weaponized and took advantage of people that just, like, I have a different way of looking at people now. Like, I don't necessarily look at them as horrible people. We're all traumatized. We're all hurt. You know, we all do like things that we obviously need help for. You know, mental health is something that is on the rise. You know, it comes in many different forms, depression, you know, bipolarity, like no matter. And I don't think that that's something that people should be laughing about or mocking or, you know, all of those other things.
Or trying to diagnose or think they've heard that this woman is me or you or anybody. Right. Who do you think you are to do that?
So essentially the playbook that we see is they either, like, if you're exposing them or you're speaking the truth, they either like to mentally label you so that nobody will hear your story. They're like to arrest you so they can make you a criminal so nobody will hear your story, or they kill you. In Nate's case. And that's what I believe. Mm-hmm. And there are lots more like me, but again, like Ashlee said, I guess we'll see.
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Russ? What are you thinking? I can't hear you.
I was muted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So this trying to get my door. This comment was earlier, and it made me think. Everybody's that's true because I got arrested on May 8th, and actually, Ashlee, if you would have came with me to that, then you probably would have been right with me because I know we talked about going to the Talbot County School Board together. I do remember that.
Yeah, we did. I was going to come.
So I got arrested. Yep. News Now Ninja got arrested. Car Thief News got arrested. There's a whole bunch of so it was like kind of like there was like a big break of none of us being arrested. And then I get arrested on May 8th. And it's like I pushed the dominoes because then everybody else started getting arrested. So we're all calling each other and we're like, dude, this guy, he just got arrested. Like, what did you do, GT, man? You some bad omen or some bad karma or something. Don't get arrested again because it just kind of like seemed like it just kind of followed suit through. But more on that, we did file a lawsuit against Talbot, big lengthy lawsuit against Talbot County. But so the also. Real quick, what about some of the stuff you've exposed with Columbus, like as far as money? Because here's the thing: is that, and I really hate to say this, it's like this. I spent a lot of time exposing the city of Grantville, exposing this mayor. You wouldn't believe what I caught him on camera doing. I think, Julie, I think you've seen a lot of it. And
come on down to Columbus again.
Here's the thing, and then there's talks. It's speculation again that Mayor Proctor is planning to raise the taxes for the fourth time since he's been in office. So you know what I say to that? I hope that mayor raises the taxes 100%, and I hope he doubles the utility bill. You know why? Because
so everybody will move.
No one can do it by themselves. Everybody has got to stand up and quit being scared and start confronting their government and start questioning them, start asking them questions because this money, it's our money. It's your money.
Yes.
That these buffoons are recklessly spending. And we're allowing them, and you know what? We are allowing them to do it. We are allowing them to do it. because we're voting.
Well, can I correct you though? We have been allowing them, but we're not allowing them anymore. And that's why this is happening.
And we are so thankful for you who are interested in standing up. But guys, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm a single 31-year-old female. You can do it. Just pay attention. Message us. It's so important. But you had a question, Russ, about go ahead, about maybe the Columbus City finances.
Oh, yeah. To answer Red Pill's question, Columbus already failed. I went there. Actually, I went there twice. I had an issue with the health department, Department of Health. And then a few months ago, I got banned from the post office. Then I went into City Hall and then ran into that stuff with the city manager before he got fired. And yeah, it's just.
And he's trying to run for mayor.
They failed. Yeah. They failed big time. Is what needs to. And then, like, I would seriously endorse this. I'm trying to get a buddy of mine to run for mayor in Grantville. He don't want to. He doesn't want to do it. He's trying to move. He's trying to sell his place. He's trying to move. I'm like, dude, run for mayor. For one, it'll shake things up. Ashlee, run for mayor for Columbus. And when you get in there, do this. Take the finances, all the finances, and go, well, this is actually, I just bought a new printer, so this is my alignment page for my printer, but you get the idea. This is the finances. Take the finances, hold them up to the camera, open the books, let people come in and just open everything. And you know what? These corrupt and crooked politicians, these corrupt and crooked governments, there's one thing they cannot run from. They can leave office, they can resign, but there's one thing they can't run from. There's one thing that will get them, and that's called an indictment if they're doing anything wrong. Sorry, that was my rant. Go ahead, Ashlee, about what you found out with this as far as the finances.
Thank you, Russ.
It gets me fired up. People need to stand up. We've got to stand.
No
violence. No violence, no whatever, no violence, no tearing stuff up, peaceful protests, and exercise your rights that are guaranteed, not because you get them, you're guaranteed them, not because you're allowed to go do that, you're guaranteed them. And, redress your government, peacefully, of course, always peaceful. I do everything peacefully. And stand up to them, because if a whole city stands up to them, we want to know where our money's going or some stuff's about to hit the fan, then it's they're going to be minding their P's and Q's. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to throw myself apologize, Russ. Yes. Yes. I have a feeling it's all unraveling. And I'm so thankful. I mean, it's just like I'm sitting at city council. So, and into, yes, peaceful protests, guys, but also if your taxes are being double, your homeowner taxes, which so many people's are, or this or that, you're noticing something that's sketchy, do some research. Google is so powerful. Talk at city council, or if you don't know how to do that, message me or Google how to do it. It's so simple. You literally sign up online. You look when the meeting is, sign up online, and then you have your 5-minute speech, and then you go and you do it. And people are listening. People are interested. Mm-hmm. And just the simple fact that Isaiah Hughley, I did this story that touched him this much, Russ, when I was at WTVM, this much. And he raised this big thing, and it canceled because he's married to the state representative, head of the Democratic Party of the state representatives of Georgia as well, Carolyn Hughley. So this is all very intertwined. It goes way deeper than just Columbus, Georgia. It's state and federal. And so it's just, it's a lot. And when it comes to city finances, yes.
Sorry, how much is mainstream media sanctioned by the government for what they have to report. Like, what is mainstream media like? How are they controlled by the government?
Well, I'll tell you. So I was in mainstream media for 7 years ish, and so when you work for a local news station like I worked for 3, you work for an affiliate or sometimes several. Like at WTVM's case in Columbus, Georgia, they have all Fox, ABC, and NBC all under one umbrella. I don't know how that is legal or right or ethical, but that's how it works. So any local journalist, you're affiliated with a network, whether it's Fox, any of those 4. And, as a producer, because I've produced my own shows before as well, you have to take content from this big database, that is, these national stories that are from these affiliates. Well, when it comes down to, just like the government, your local news media, your national, they're paid by these politicians and law enforcement officers and government officials as well to say things. And I saw that from day one with national media. You could not pay me $1 million a minute to say something that is not true to help somebody else be corrupt. Does that make sense?
No, I do. And then, no, it makes perfect sense. And
it's sad. It's sad because mainstream media is a literal brainwashing tool. Yes, there is some little bits and truth to things, but use your own brain to deduct in your own research rather than sitting in front of a TV or having the news on. I know people that just have Fox News or ABC News or CNN on, 24/7 or, every evening for hours. And it's a brainwashing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree. And a producer in Atlanta with one of the stations, I had her phone number, and I'd talk to her from time to time about stuff. And they picked a couple of my things up that I ran into that I found. And she had told me that they don't have the money. There's like, we're limited on funding. We can't send reporters to these small rural communities to look into this because we just don't have the money. We ain't got the money to do it. And that's where everybody else comes in, I think. Do I believe it? Probably not.
If they wanted to follow a good story, you're going to be paying a reporter 5 days a week anyway. They should be able to follow that story. I mean, maybe they don't have the resources or the time, but I beg to differ on that, because as a local journalist for years, I pushed for several stories in all of my markets, and I would have to fight for them. And then sometimes I'd be able to do it and sometimes I wouldn't. It just depends on the consensus of the newsroom. And if people, have differing beliefs, or they know this person who knows that person who is that person, how towns are. Atlanta's the same way. They're going to say, well, you don't need to do it because this. And it's just like a consensus. And so it's how it is. But yeah, I do believe that the news media is definitely drowning as well. As far as finances.
I think we got off a little off topic, because I wanted to ask you that question before I forgot. We were talking about the finances of Columbus, and then you said something about mainstream, and I was like, oh, hold on. Let me get this out before I forget.
So an update on the city finances. So basically, we don't know. The last update.
I kind of feel like they're expecting it to just
go away, and it's not.
But I know I have still been going through that. I have some people who have reached out to me, and they're, pinpointing certain pages in the report, and they're like, hey, take a look at this. I actually did a breakdown a couple of weeks ago where I went through there were 4 investigators that were assigned to this investigation, and there were multitudes of felony charges that were put in this record or this investigation. And so like it looks a little suspicious when you have them only arresting for misdemeanor charges, like 2 women. One of them, actually, she's already been, I guess she was, they basically dropped the charges on her because the charges they put on her, it expired due to the statute of limitations. And then the other one, we got a false story that they had cleared her.
You're talking about Yvonne and Alexander?
Yes.
So both of them were misdemeanors. So there were so many things that were felonious, should have been felonies in that report.
Yeah, but what I was saying is so like they're literally like the 2 women that the citizens are thinking, okay, well, at least we have some arrests. Like that's pretty much just going to be a wash. But honestly, the assistant district attorney that's prosecuted, or that was supposed to prosecute
Wayne
these
Jernigan.
women, Wayne Jernigan, he's out here from Marion County, and they're why do we have, I mean, Isaiah Hughley even had a felony charge. And so like why
we sent the email asking all these questions 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With
so
no
like,
response.
why do we have, like, why is the sheriff not making the arrests, you know? And the consensus, there's video footage, out there of Greg, and there's a statement out there of Greg, and he was speaking with an individual citizen
that he does not agree with it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, but we just have to go based off of what the assistant district attorney says that he's willing to prosecute. Well, why is he not willing to prosecute the other things? Are you saying that the investigators that did this are inept?
Your investigators, Greg Countryman?
Yeah, so it's like, they're witnessing the obstruction.
They did a whole year worth of investigations on taxpayer money. 17 months.
Yeah.
For 2 misdemeanors.
So it's like not only are you making money from the people,
money,
but you have a sheriff who, and see, okay, so I actually did a lot of research for a sheriff that has run the last couple of terms in Columbus. And so I did a lot of open records requests for him. I did a lot of just the research when people would contact and say, hey, like we have this, insiders from the jail, people who used to work underneath Greg Countryman that no longer work for him. And so, we ended up having to chase a lot of this stuff down. And so like I learned a lot in this process about what the sheriff's duties really are. He's the chief law enforcement officer of the county.
He's over the jail.
The only person that could take him out of office is the coroner, or the courts if he's prosecuted for, criminal action or, things like that. But, he's over the courts in the jail, and the jail is in shambles. It's ridiculous. I mean, you had a firsthand experience of that this weekend. So, like what it just seems like these people don't want to serve the people. They don't want the city to prosper in a right way.
And why?
Right. I mean, when people, your own citizens for years are calling you Columbus, you're having murders like on the daily, shootings, all these things. Like where is, if you swear an oath to uphold justice and protect, the citizens, like how are you doing that? So
they work all these murders and the the 7 deadlies are going on, in the city of Columbus, but yet 4 police officers are responding to me at a post office investigating a portion of the federal government, from a public space, and then turn around and ban me.
Well, I mean, I think it's further.
Welcome to Columbus, Rise.
I did want to say that it's further interesting from the financial investigation perspective because there is a fraternity brotherhood that Isaiah Hughley and Greg Countryman belong to, and so it seems a little suspicious that here it was Nate was exposing Isaiah.
He was the whistleblower who initiated. No, he didn't initiate, but because of him releasing some of Isaiah Hughley's financial documents that were proven legal. And then now he's dead. Sorry.
Yeah. And then, of course, I end up releasing a piece about how a lot of the open records requests about the financial misconduct that I was sent by people about, Greg and Isaiah and Angelica and some other people. Tyler was the one who was responsible for answering a lot of those open records requests, because the CPD and the finance department they were obstructing, my right to, have this public documentation. So I would have to go to the Attorney General's office, file a complaint, and then they, of course, would have to go to the city attorney, which was Tyler. And so, I ended up releasing this story about, don't forget, that Tyler was part of leaking a lot of this information, and it tied, Greg Countryman's son to having a car that on the documentation looks like it wasn't even approved with city payer money. It wasn't approved by, the fleet department. He's got, it looks like his own personal insurance on there. It's registered to his own address. The purchase receipt is in his own address, but yet he's driving it around as a sheriff's vehicle. And it just looks like, why, is he going to absorb it? Is it going to just be his? And so, once I did that, then the next couple of days, we have this, Tyler's been in an accident in a rental car. And, there's stories flying around about how he was really drunk, leaving a
Columbus Clingstone's baseball game.
And I mean, these things may very well be legitimate, but it just seems a little coincidental. And then here it is, Ashlee calls out Greg Countryman, and I don't know, it just seems like there's a common factor here. And again, we're not saying that it is, but it's just, these are the kinds of things that you kind of take note of, and you ask questions like, is there a connection?
Now let me ask,
and I personally believe it's all connected in a way.
Now let me ask this, and then we got a lot in here, and I want to say maybe there are a lot of this from the surrounding area. Now let me ask this: is this something that you two would be interested in doing? It's something that me and a buddy of mine, we want to kind of set up. Is it would cost per person, but the money, it wouldn't cost as much as it is to rent the venue and to pay for the lunch and some snacks for people, and maybe an auditorium or something. And the people in the area that's not familiar with their rights, how to put in open records requests, how to deal with this sort of stuff. Kind of like a seminar, almost like a seminar. Teach to show people how to do an open records request, how to film everybody. I think everybody's a journalist. Anybody can, no matter who you are. You can be a homeless person. You got one of these, you go around, you start taking pictures and filming the government. Then
I'm sorry, hold on. We had a
do what?
I'm sorry, Russ. Hold on just a second. We had a little accident. I'm sorry. Hold on just one moment.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Okay. So she's asking to kind of just answer that question. That actually is a very exciting, I don't know if you saw, I got really excited when you said that, because I have learned a lot of tips and tricks about the records process. And obviously you want an audit trail. I love doing everything in email, because you can see you have an audit trail of what you wrote, what they wrote back, things like that. And I use Gmail. So I use an add-on called Streak, and that allows me to see when people view my email. Because a lot of people in the government were playing games with me, oh, well, we never got that, or the firewall kicked that to the spam folder, and it was. So when I use these little tips and tricks, it actually helps hold them accountable, so that when they choose not to give me what I'm asking for, then I can take that information to the Attorney General. And because I have that evidence, it actually assists the Attorney General's office in helping me, hold them accountable to giving me what asking. And I will say like 85 to 90% of the time when our local government is not fulfilling those requests, that Attorney General has done a wonderful job of holding them accountable. I will say that I don't necessarily agree with when I've tried to do open records requests to Georgia bureaus, like the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or, the Department or the Driver Services, or the Georgia State Patrol, or like they won't mediate those open records because they say that those are their clients as well. So there's a lot of great things that are helpful when it comes to open records. So let us know the details of that.
Yeah.
And
So for example,
I think that would be great. We need help.
I file so many open records requests. It's unbelievable. And like you said, a tracking system. Here's an example of mine. I got so much bombarded in open records requests. I issued them my own control number that I'm tracking them. The state, the month, the year, and then a sequential number, a sequential number that never ends. So this number it never flips or never does anything. The state, the month, the year, and then this number. This will never change. And that's how I'm like, because I started getting confused. I'm like, I've submitted so many open records requests. I don't know what's due back or what I'm supposed to get back or what. So I came up with this, and it's been working for me. And a lot of people's used my template
That's beautiful.
To do it with. So no, that something for maybe an 8-hour block of something for to cover this sort of stuff, or how to draft your a lawsuit, how to have a basic suit. I can do that. I'm not too intelligent, I guess. I don't know, but I can draft a basic suit.
Okay. But I do have to interject here though, Russ. Okay, because as someone who is in paralegal school, like have a semester left before I graduate, get my bachelor's, like when it comes to like teaching people how to draft certain things, I guess like the question for me is like, is there a gray line in that could be considered the unauthorized practice of law for us? Because like that's the last thing that we would want to do is, like, oh, well, somebody like we all have haters, right? Oh, somebody's like practicing, you know what I'm saying? So, but I do know that you can make templates.
I'll run that through one of my attorneys and ask if that's possible.
Thank you.
And then I'm working on a template for something like that as well, and is what I would like to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Something I would like to do. I like I said, I write all my code for my sites. So is what I would love to do and make it free. Like you'll never pay for anything. Is that if you want to sue somebody, then you can plug in everything you need to plug in, and then it'll generate the suit for you. You may have to make some changes on Microsoft Word or something, but something that I'm kind of playing with right now. For that, just to try to streamline it. So I'm just interested. I mean, guys and gals and everybody in the chat, let me know if there's something that you'd be interested in. And the cost would be, I'm not going to make any money off of it. I'm not going to make any profit on it. The cost would go back into it. So if it, for example, if it cost $100 to rent the venue, to get snacks, refreshments, and stuff like that for an 8-hour day, and we only get 10 people, well, it'd cost $10 a person. We get 20 people, it'd be $5 a person. Just something like that. Just all the funds raised for it will go directly, and with receipts, of course, by all means, with receipts. Just to cover the basic expenses, and then I'll see if I can get an attorney that would come out and, maybe give an hour block or 2-hour block on something. And so one person's not winded all day, switch off with whatever, with whatever. I just to spread the information, to get the information out there, what your basic rights are. I mean, as as an American. To anybody can walk into a city hall, into a public space, and start taking pictures and start filming people. In city
Or if
hall.
they feel
I don't understand
uncomfortable
why
and
mainstream media don't do it. Actually, why is that? Like, why is that? You always see mainstream media out on the sidewalk on the side of the road.
So there are some really good old school journalists still out there. They're very few and far between. My experience is that you're kind of taught to fear these elected officials because they're in the pockets of the news and vice versa, the local, the national, and all of that. So unless you are very well established, I feel like, or you are just old school or have an old soul like me and Julia, and that scares them, because I don't know why it scares them or why that makes them uncomfortable, because that is true journalism. Whether it's the way that you do it, Russ, or the way I do it. So I personally yes, I personally have a different way that I go about it, and that works for me, and then a way that you go about it, and that works for you. And they marry each other, and it's great. I don't know why more people don't do it, and I encourage you, if you know a journalist, yes, if you know a journalist or you are a journalist and you're watching this and you feel uncomfortable or something sketchy and you just turned your camera off for the interview and then they start talking like they always do because they didn't like the questions or they didn't like you said this, go ahead and press record again and just be quiet. Let that be your news story, or a big part of it, and they send you to these investigative journalism class, just like they sent me, 2 months before I did the Isaiah Hughley story and started hitting them with open records requests, which I always got the runaround for and never answers. But they run you around like crazy as a news reporter. And, and you, especially locally, you don't have, they want you to do something completely different every single day, whether it's a murder, dealing with, it's a lot. You don't get a cameraman most of the time, like 99% of the time. You do sometimes 2 stories a day, and it's 5 days a week. Emotionally, physically exhausting. So me being independent, but they can still do it because you go through your ebbs and flows when you're, at least I'm speaking for myself when I was a journalist, I'm like, yes, I'm here. And then sometimes there are seasons when I've got to step back from the hard stuff because it is a lot. But I encourage you, citizens, if you're interested in learning more, like Russ and me and Julia, and if you feel uncomfortable or your little spidey senses go off and you're like, question mark, just record. And you don't have to tell them, just record. And then ask us if you have questions and then post it. Or don't. The choice is yours.
The has ruled there is no
I would also
expectation of privacy in public.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good. I was going to say something, but I'm good. Okay. Yeah.
This has been awesome, Russ. Thank you so much.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you.
And,
was there anything else we needed to hit on?
I think that was it. I'm curious. I saw a couple of comments in here about it. I'm really curious to put that together and see what type of a turnout would come with something like that. For maybe 8 hours is a little too much. Maybe 6 hours or something. Maybe like a 9 to 3 or an 8 to 2 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Russ, and let's definitely talk on the phone tomorrow. Let's, sleep on this. This has been awesome. This has been a lot, but it's been great. I feel like I hope people learned from it. I'm so thankful that, you're interested enough, and we had that already established relationship that we got the opportunity to do this. We are so thankful for collaborations. We love to collaborate with people.
Wish it could have been on something.
Wish
it would have been on something better than an arrest. But usually, sometimes that's what it takes to push information.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's not over. There's just so much. I wish that, and I get contacts, and I get people sending me stuff all the time, every day, all over the state. And I'm like, I don't have time to. It's hard. It's really hard to go look at every little nick and cranny. But
that's why we need y'all.
And
but,
send it to me sometimes if I can help. If it's around this area, let's work together. Yeah.
Oh, Talbot County's one.
We're working together, and let's talk tomorrow because I'm excited.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, this your guy
much.
here.
This is Lily.
He's
She wants to say hi.
Oh, hello, little doggy. Where's my dog? Well, mine's not in here. Scott, he's a veteran, former Army buddy. He did some of the stuff in Grantville with me. Great guy. He can help out where needed as well, with anything trustworthy. And like I said, he's the one that did the music stuff for. He sent me the song. He's like, I made you a song. Listen to it. So I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I think I can probably try to do something
Send
with
it to
this.
me.
And so it was pretty good. It was a collaboration of a whole bunch of stuff. And then J-Town Press, if y'all aren't familiar with her, go sub to her. Me and her's done a lot of stuff up here in the Georgia area. But thank y'all. Any last things y'all want to add before we kick it off of here? This is the longest live stream I think I've done, coming up on an hour and 27 minutes. Oh, Plumline Productions.
Well, I really just want to say thank you.
Your
Plumline,
channel,
yes.
your YouTube channel.
I forgot. Yeah. So okay, I have a little thing that I do. It's Plumline Productions. I really just what I really focused on for the most part was doing advocacy for the men in the Black community who are wrongfully incarcerated in Georgia. It's just something that kind of came to me. I didn't choose it. So I do have a couple of stories that kind of broke me out into the public. I covered the Carlton Gary stocking strangler story where I exposed a lot of corruption. If you guys have a chance to look at that, I'm on TikTok and YouTube. And I also did one out of Talbot County. That's Roger Lee Baker. Shout out to Mr. Baker. Yeah, that actually exposed a conspiracy and a frame job with the GI and former ADA, who's an injury lawyer in Columbus. And so if you guys get a chance to check out that, but it really I started because I was exposing corruption. People started contacting me, so I just covered stories as I could, put it out there, did research, open records. So it's a little bit different than what you do in that way. But I'm open to everything. Ideally, though, I just did it because nobody else was doing it. And now that I see that, I've seen that you've been doing it lately. Ashlee has come out and done it. And so I'm happy to take the background and get back into what I love, which is advocating for the wrongfully accused and wrongfully incarcerated. I really do want to use my bachelor's in paralegal to assist someone in post-trial doing habeases and things like that. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. But I really just want to say thank you because I saw so many people this weekend, with Ashlee's arrest, just the followers and the supporters, and the more people that we have speaking goodness over the city, is a good thing. And I'm a firm believer. The Bible says that a city comes to ruin at the mouth of the wicked, but a city is built by the mouth of the righteous. So I am proclaiming that it's no longer Kill Lumbus. Mm-hmm. Okay. We got to come up with a different name. Yes. And maybe we could stop the eye rolling and all of the mockery about we do amazing and find a different slogan.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Russ. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight and is listening and hearing and learning and being kind. Thank y'all. Thank you to all my supporters. And hopefully I got a few more, hopefully. And you guys, I love y'all. I don't do this for Ashlee. I didn't choose this. It chose me. So I'm so thankful for all of you strangers or people that I've met on stories or haven't met, but have been following me, who just showed me so much kindness and just so much sweetness on Colin's posts that even if your comments were deleted, I felt it all when I was in the jail. And I'm so thankful. And I just, I will not stop. We won't stop. We will not shut up. We will continue on. And it's our calling. It's our purpose. And there's something happening. I feel it. Julia feels it. And it's a good thing. And thank you. I want to say my little sig out and then we'll log off, Russ, unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, I don't. I'm getting ready to kill it here in just a second. Hey, Powerhouse. Yeah, I got you. I'll get with Scott and see what you got going on. Oh, and something big, just to let everybody know, a sneak trailer peek or something coming. Just verbally, I don't have a trailer for it, but Danielsville, Georgia, something big's coming from there. So be prepared for that. They're corrupt. They're corrupt.
It's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere.
Definitely is. So my homie Shane with North Georgia Audit, he's up there running that, and he's toting a big one up there with that. So I'm going to kind of step in and help him out and see what we can get exposed. But I'm so sorry. Did you say the doggie's name?
This is Lily. She's my baby girl. I got her when I was in Augusta, and she's sassy, fierce, and very adventurous.
Lily.
But thank y'all so much. It was so good to meet all of you or kind of talk with y'all, whatever. I'm so thankful for you, Russ. And from margins to the main stage, I'm Ashlee Williams. Stay tuned. Bye.
Y'all take it easy. GT's going cold.